I'm happy to welcome you all to the August meeting of Brixworth Parish Council. Do we have apologies for absence, please?
Yes, you want to go through them individually, as we do normally?
Yes, we should probably do that. It takes a little while, but it's appropriate.
Yeah. So the first one is Jackie. She emailed me to say she was unable to come this evening.
Could we have a proposal we accept Jackie's?
Do we know why?
She just said she was unable to come this evening.
Jackie's a normal attender, so I'll vote for her.
Dave, and a second. Those in favour? Opposed? Ian's opposed. And so that would be approved. And the next one?
The next one is Neil. Due to work commitments, he's unable to come this evening.
Neil has work commitments that prevent him from attending this evening. Do we have a proposal? Thank you, Stephen. A second? Thank you, David. Those in favour of accepting Neil's apology? Any opposed or abstentions? Thank you, Ian. Ian's abstaining. So we are accepting that apology.
Yeah. The next one is Sandra. She's on holiday.
Sandra is on holiday. Is that a good enough reason? David, you're...
I'll approve.
Yeah.
Stephen, thank you. Those in favour of accepting the apology? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ian's abstaining. So Sandra is also accepted.
Alex is on holiday.
Alex is both of them on holiday.
Separately.
I'm glad you made that clear. You proposing, thank you, Stevens. Second by David. All in favour? Any opposed or abstentions? Ian's abstaining.
And Kevin is on holiday.
Kevin is also on holiday. The plot thickens. Do we have a proposal to accept Kevin's apologies? A second? Thank you, David. Those in favour? Any opposed or abstentions? Thank you, Ian.
Thank you. That's all.
That's really.
Luckily.
In which case, we move on to declaration of interest. The first item under declaration of interest is to consider requests by members for dispensation. As we know, members of the council are appointed as trustees for the building here, but in order to vote on financial issues particularly, we need to grant them a dispensation. We have 2 new members, I believe, and 2 new requests.
Yes, I've had a request for James and a request for pizza.
Right, can we have a proposal that we grant an dispensation, to both applicants?
Both applicants.
Thank you, Stephen. A second? Thank you, David. Those in favour of granting the dispensation? I think that's everybody. Anybody opposed? And of course, Peter, you'd be abstaining. Fine. Next is to sign the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 28th of July 2015. Has everyone seen these minutes? Are we happy that they reflect the meeting as it occurred at the last month? Yes?
Yeah, propose to accept.
Thank you. You're supposed to be accepting. Thank you. Do we have a second to accept? Thank you, David. Those in favour of accepting the minutes? Any opposed or abstentions? Fair enough. In that case, we will sign the minutes as a true record. We next have a public open forum session which allows people who wish to comment to the council or question the council in any way an opportunity to do so. Anybody have Mike?
Not really questions, more sort of observations and rhetorical questions, really. Some people remember in the spring I mentioned that the old Shore Start building near the church was under review from the County Council. The review was completed, it's surplus to requirements for Shore Start. They've moved out, and the remaining Shore Start activities following its reorganisation are now take place here. So it's an empty building. It's had a long history, we won't go into, of expense and not been looked after. It hasn't been well stewarded at all by the County Council. The issue now is that the neighbourhood plan group was approached by the Friends of the Church and wanted to enlist the support of the neighbourhood plan group to use what resources there are in that location to further the heritage interests of the church. I'm a member of the neighbourhood planning group, but I'm speaking as an individual. But the neighbourhood planning group wanted to respond to that, because we have to respond, as you well know, so generally being a member of the same group, to all the observations following the consultation. And so it seemed sensible, since Heather Smith, who's the county councillor in charge of young people's services, has instigated this consultation about the future of the building, but actually has done very little about it, should be bypassed and we contact our own county councillor. So we had a meeting with a number of us from the neighbourhood plan group last week with Cecile, who was here last meeting, you recall, and we've tried to enlist her aid. The idea is that Cecile gets a History Society, have an interest, the church, the Friends of the Church, this parish council, which has obviously got an interest, residents and any other groups to get together to really address the future of that building. There should be a sense of urgency. There isn't a sense of urgency from the County Council, but there should be now, because you've got an expensive building that's been expensively refurbished at ratepayers' expense, not being used for anything. Winter is approaching, and I'm sure that is not going to be a building that will stand sharp frosts and things like that, and you're probably going to have leaks. If it's not used at all, it will just get into state of disrepair as it has last time. So what I'm raising now as an issue for is, I think that the letter that David, as a member of the parish council, but also a member of the chairman of the neighbourhood plan group, has sent to Cecile, because Cecile has only a vague idea of what we're talking about. David's letter says, can you urgently get something done about this? And I'm saying to the parish council, can the parish council now take this forward? It is not an issue that a neighbourhood plan group can resolve. We would like to sort of park it with the parish council and say something must happen. Now Cecile, being a county council, will raise it again with Heather Smith, who's in charge of young people's services. It's under their remit, that building, because it's always been used as an educational building. To get something done as a matter of urgency, to convene a meeting in September, October, whenever. And I'd like the parish council to see it's something that we need to drive forward, to take as being important. And I suspect, actually, that a number of parish councils are probably not here tonight, have never actually been inside that building. And it might be useful, as soon as possible, to approach the county council and say, can we actually view the building? Because you need to see inside it to know what you're talking about. I've got a plan of it here. Many of you will have seen it on the outside, but you do need to see what facilities there are there. And actually, they're quite impressive. So that's what I'm saying. If the parish council can see it as something that we need to drive forward, let Cecile receive David's letter, which is a very purposeful letter. Give us some marking time, but then see it driven forward. The county seems to be doing nothing and is content to do nothing with that building. I don't think the parish council should be content for nothing to happen to that building. There's great potential for its use.
Probably the best plan would be for the clerk to look into it and to schedule it on, have it on the
Next.
September
Perhaps at
agenda.
the September meeting. And contact perhaps Cecile just before the meeting to say, can we have an update?
Yeah.
Because it's parked with her now, because she's our county councillor, it's a county council building, to see what she can do. But
So-
I would imagine at a meeting it would be good, probably not for Cecile to chair, but perhaps a parish councillor to chair who knows the ins and outs of it, because Cecile is a bit remote from its past history, but she needs to get things going, I think.
But you're familiar with it, so perhaps you can
I
coordinate
can
with Emma
certainly
in the short
liaise
term.
with Emma, yes.
Okay. Any? Oh, we have two.
Go, Liz.
Liz, did you want to go first?
It's just for information, really, Chairman. I've had several complaints over the last couple of weeks about the tree that's by the side of the fish and chip shop, because I don't know if you've seen it, but the branch it's just knocks in the face every time we walk up the pavement because it's so long. So I've spoken to Mike Benton at Daventry. I don't know whether he contacted you.
Yeah, he said it had been sorted.
No, well,
It's supposed to be going to be sorted.
by highways,
Mm.
yes, but it's not been done. He thought it had already been done, but it hasn't.
Yeah, that's what he
So I
told me.
chased him again today, and he was going to chase them up. So
Right.
it's just to take that one really, really long branch off.
Mm.
So I'm just telling you because in case anyone else rings or says anything about it, it is going to be done.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Brixworth Bulletin is always welcome.
I just had a bit of a facetious question actually, but I'm seeing just how many of our dear parish councillors are on holiday today. Has anybody checked how many parish councillor it takes to have a quorum?
Yes, 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a third.
We were a little anxious before Ian got here.
It's actually a third.
Have an appointment in 5 minutes.
But because we're 14, you
Is
can't
that-
divide that into 3.
Yes.
You're asking me to speed up, are you?
Abbott.
No, I am.
Okay. Yes, you was.
Yeah, just to say I'm quite pleased that the council's got the winter maintenance programme on their agenda today. Put a fair bit of work in getting it there. So I know I've made a bit of fuss of nuisance of myself over the previous months. It's nice to see actually something's been done. In order to keep the kind of winter maintenance programme going for the playing fields, I'd like to suggest that we get those mini goalposts set at the Ashway for next summer, so that kids aren't destroying the good work that's being done on the pitches at the moment. Because if we get into the summer months again, end of school, the season finishes around about April time, then it's going to play the big goalposts. Whereas if we have some smaller set of goalposts set up behind the kids' play area, it will take a lot of stress off the pitches, and it will make the money that's being spent on it much more worthwhile. I think it's just something to consider going forward. If we kind of get that in place by next April, that'd be really, really good.
We bring that to the
Yeah,
attention of the playing field group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay.
quite pleased it's actually being implemented.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ian.
May I wear my district councillor's hat for a brief report? I think it would fit in here.
Yes, please do.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been appointed by the District Council to be a board member of the Citizen Advice Bureau, Welfare Rights and DIAL, which is a disability umbrella group. And I've had an informal meeting with Helen, who's a manager, and what I'm trying to do, I realise that so much of my casework in Brixworth needs possibly their help. And there they are, all the way up in Wellington, wrong hat on, in Daventry. I've made preliminary discussions informally whether trying to see whether they can have a support worker to maybe work alongside to enhance the work of the information centre people here. It's very early doors yet, don't count on it, but that's something which I'm trying to do for Brixworth. I think there is a need of their particular input if necessary. Unfortunately, the last meeting coincided with the general meeting of Brixworth. And I was disappointed to see that 2 councils didn't accept my absence for going to that meeting, but there we are.
Ian, we did have once a month Bromford support in the information point, working alongside our people. That's networked successfully. And it's only ceased because of the lack of funding.
Lack of funding, yes. And Bromford now do use CAB for lots of their work, as you probably know.
Yes.
Hence me trying to lever it in if we can.
So if you could approach them and tell them when the opening times are here, it would be really good to liaise on that.
It may be that there will be, I'm only guessing, it may be in the long term they'll be looking to the parish council maybe for some help, moral or financial, I don't know, but certainly it's...
Well, let's not jump the gun.
No, it's early days, but it's possibly one for the future.
Thank you, Ian, for that report, I guess. If that's it, no other questions, or we will continue to receive presentation regarding the Rural Social Isolation Project from Emma Perry. I'm sorry there's so few councillors here this evening. I'm sure if they knew you were going to be here, there would have been more, but please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll probably scare them all off. I'll just hand out a little presentation that I've done. Thank you for allowing me to come. It's just a project that it's in early days at the moment. We want to pilot 8 parishes within the district to do an isolation project. And it's just something we'd like to support in, really. The project aims at the most isolated and the most vulnerable. The age group that we're looking at the moment is the age over 65. So we've got some data within the presentation of different sort of people that are isolated from the census data. So that's quite interesting. There's people without private transport, and sort of retired households and vulnerable that sort of fall through the net. So we just want to we're researching at the moment, it's really early days. We've got a database of existing community groups at the moment and what's out there. So we're going to do a consultation within the next few months to residents in the Brixworth area. So it's just to gain your support, really, and maybe get all the best people out there who knows what works well in the village and what possibly could do with more. So we want to set up some focus parish groups within the next few months, consult residents, paper survey, face-to-face telephone consultations, and then we want to link in with county council and other partners as well to see if we can all work together on whatever comes out from the surveys. So it was just sort of to let you know where we are. It's really early stages, and if to get the support of Brixworth to do something like that within the district. I won't take up too much of your time.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Getting off easily. Appreciate the report. It will keep us updated, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. To receive Police Representative's report, which was emailed earlier in the month. Have we all had the opportunity to have a look at it? Does anybody have any question regarding it that we can pass back through Emma? So we will note that we have received the report. To give an update on legal proceedings, David, I think this is up to you.
Thank you. Just a short statement. The hearing of BPC's Brixworth Parish Council's case in Northampton County Court did not take place today as previously advised. We were advised by the court that Deputy District Judge Josephs had earlier dismissed the application by Mr. Pointer to set aside the default cost certificate on the grounds that the application should never have been entertained. The effect of this is that the County Court judgment for Brixworth Parish Council cost in the sum of £6,845.50 previously obtained is confirmed by the court, and the hearing today was vacated. In due course, the Council will need to decide when and how it wishes to take forward this matter. That's all.
Thank you. Does anybody in the council have any question? I doubt it. I think that's pretty straightforward. Okay, thank you, David. to receive an update on the Central Sports Lease slow progress.
Yeah. Well, the Central Sports has had a look at the draft. They've got a few queries that came back to our solicitor. They've been sort of ironed out and agreed, so our solicitor has gone back to theirs to say that we're happy with it and happy to proceed. So it's just a case of now sitting down and signing it.
So with a little bit of luck that might occur before the next meeting?
Well, I hope so, yeah.
It's been going on for a couple of years.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything back yet, but that's where we are at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Emma.
Chairman, do we know what it's costing us so far?
I'm sorry?
Do we know how much financial exposure there will be for the parish council on this matter?
I think we have...
We were quoted £700 by Clifford, and as far as I'm aware, he hasn't said that it's going to be any more.
Within that.
Yeah,
that's
so it's in that, within that area. Yeah, I don't think it's been ticking up.
Yeah. So there's anything unexpected coming then?
Well, I hope not. Yeah.
Well, we don't know, do we?
Yeah, but
signs are good. That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Robert? At it, David? Did you?
Sorry, no. I have a nick from the back of my neck. I suppose if I'd been in foreign, something would knock me down for it. I see it cost you 300,000 quid.
I just thought you were sitting at attention, that's all. Next on the agenda is planning. As some of us already know, the planning meeting last night didn't occur because there were not enough members present for it to go forward, and so there are no minutes to be accepted, and no decisions taken on the planning matters that were to have come before that meeting, and I'm not sure how that will be handled now.
Well, it'll just be handled that we have no comments regarding the two applications that were on.
However, there was one planning application that managed to squeak through to this meeting, and that is the amended conversion of the White House building, is it not? It's Daventry DA 2015/0384.
Just before that, we have got planning approvals and refusals just to accept the list.
It's amended.
No. B, you didn't read B out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm too anxious to get to the end. Just to note that we have received a list of planning approvals and refusals. If we have any question, or we're happy just to accept it as given.
Yeah.
I think just to make a comment on DA 20150023, that an appeal has been lodged on that one.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll hear about that in the fullness of time.
Okay. Was there anything else regarding those? Stephen, I would expect you to know. Good. In that case, I can catch up with myself and we can move on to the White House on 128C Northampton Road, which is an amended application. I think the gentleman's here to talk to that. Is there anything you wanted to say before we go any further?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman, committee members. My name is Philip Horn. I'm acting on behalf of Graham Hodgson, who owns the White House Daisy Roots, and really taking into consideration the amendments that we've put forward after comments from Daventry District Council Planning Officer and the Conservation Officer. So we've reduced the flats from 4 2-beds to 4, from 4 2-beds and 4 1-beds to 8 number 1-beds. We've managed to adhere to highways with regarding parking on the site, so we've now got 12 parking spaces on site that meets highway standards. The design has been reduced, i.e. the height has been reduced by about 300 millimetres. The extension that was at the front has been taken away, and the extension at the rear, that was the staircase to the first floor, that has now been reduced and taken away, and with an internal staircase. So it has greatly reduced the impact on the original build. So it is the frontage and the side, apart from the height situation, will be as is at the moment. I mean,
So
we've it's in a conservation area. I mean, the owner at the moment, he was going to close it down in June, but I believe he's had a buyer come in and take over, and I think because he had a reasonable order. I don't know how long that's going to last for. He doesn't intend to work from there anymore as Daisy Roots, so we thought it was an ideal opportunity to convert it into apartments. And speaking to the local estate agents, they're screaming out for low cost accommodation, 1-bedroom apartments. They can't get enough of them. As soon as they come in, they're sold. The size of the flats are very generous. I mean, a standard normal sort of flat is about 40 square metres, 35 to 40, and we're looking at 50 to 70 square metres. So it's very good accommodation. And the client is very, he wants to provide a decent standard, and he's quite prepared to sort of go forward on that to make sure that it is a decent standard of building, and also to replicate the original build in 1935 in the Art Deco styles.
So you confirmed that there are now 12 car parking spaces?
Yes.
Because the thing I have, I printed off, shows only 9, and I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no, I think of course not.
And Stephen,
Yeah,
Have you got the amended plan?
yeah, no, I've got it amended.
Oh, right, okay.
you have it?
I have a copy.
That's a copy.
Ah, okay. So I have a different one. Thank you.
Because I know there was issues, wasn't there, with the parking, it being
yes.
such a tight space in that area.
Yeah, I mean, you've also increased the width of the entrance as well, haven't you?
We have, yes, that was on the request of the planning officer.
Why did you feel the need to take away the gates? Is that purely to get the extra car parking?
No, that doesn't do. I think it was just that the client didn't want to have gates on them. And it's also obviously, you know, when you're turning off the road when you've got gates, they've got to be automatic. It's maintained in those, so I think it's better that it's an open plan and the width, as I say, so that 2 cars can pass, one coming in and one coming out.
Is anyone allowed to comment on this? Or is this just for you guys?
I
give in to you.
I don't see any reason why other people can't comment on it. There's no...
Well, Chairman,
Yeah.
normally this would be a planning committee meeting, wouldn't it? If it had hit the rota, if you like.
Yes.
This happens to have missed it, so I would propose and be happy to accept this part of the meeting as a committee meeting. Not formally necessarily, but so people can make a comment.
Yeah, I was just curious why there's 8 apartments for 12 spaces when most places now have 2 cars per building. And yet that's probably the busiest junction in Brixworth that has the most accidents.
Yeah, I can sort of answer that on your behalf. That it's laid down by Daventry in the highways that it's 1.5 spaces per property. I think I'm correct in that one.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you've got 2-bedroom apartments, I'm probably looking at 2 spaces.
Yeah.
There's a minimum requirement. You only need 1.5 spaces per 1-bedroom flat.
So the decent standards gone down the minimum route. That just being a bit silly.
I think when you look in the regulations, there's not really. I think each individual local authority sets their own standards to a certain extent.
Yeah, Daventry for a long time has been 1.5 spaces per unit, I think.
I mean, our concern last time was the number of parking spaces. that even with a one-bedroom flat, you are likely to get 2 people. I mean, they're not likely to be single-person flats on the floor. And well, all of us around this table certainly know how busy that junction is in the morning and later on in the evening. And to try and have 16 cars in there and try and get out will be an absolute nightmare. I live just up the road from there, so I can actually vouch for that. And that was our big concern in the first place on provision of parking. It's not an easy site to sort of say cram a lot of parking in. I mean, we all know the site. I'm not really sure, from my point of view, if this is still enough parking. I know it meets highways, and I know Daventry could very well say, yes, that's fine. But from a sort of personal point of view, I'm not convinced by it. I don't know what anyone else has got to say.
I think our original objections were it was proposed that the application be objected to due to insufficient car parking and overdevelopment of the site, plus a change of user from retail to residential. The people it had been said that they would miss a retail outlet there. And at the same time, I find myself looking at one-bedroom flats, quite as you say, are quite a demand for them for younger people.
Yeah.
I think there is a demand, possibly from people moving into Brixworth. But if you look at our housing needs survey, I would say the contrary. I would say that's the contrary is indicated. There isn't so much demand. It's family homes there seems to be the demand for, because so many people are making their homes bigger, as they're entitled to, and it's leaving a shortage of 2 and 3 bedroom houses, all extending them to 4.
I think 1 bedroom apartments are basically buy to let as well. They're not going to go to the people you want to go to.
Do we know if it's zoned retail or is it zoned retail?
Its current use is retail.
Yeah, it's been retail.
There'll have to be a change of user as well
to
residential.
You would think it would be an application for change of use that would come first, surely.
It's all part and parcel of the application.
It's a difficult one, this, because actually the building's retaining its original look, by and large.
Well, it is, and it's actually been built up to replicate the original 1930s.
Yeah.
35.
Yeah. Are you putting the clock back?
No.
It's a serious point. If you want to recreate the Art Deco frontage, the clock was an integral part of it, and it went about 20 years ago. So it's a clock.
We could look at that. Yeah.
It's a feature of the Art Deco frontage of that corner. The clock, historic photographs show it well.
Yeah.
When I moved in the village, the clock was there.
If there are no further questions, then we would need to entertain a motion as to what our view is to forward to Devonshire. It is not our job to approve or disapprove, it's simply a consultant, you understand.
Are the 12 car parking spaces allocated, or is it first come, first serve?
Well, it hasn't been discussed yet, but we could easily allocate if need be. I mean, yes, that'd be probably 1 to 8, and then 4 open. First come, first serve.
As the building's going up in height, if you don't make, I suppose you've done a sunlight survey on the junction as well, haven't you? Because we've removed a lot of the street lights have gone from that area.
Yeah, I mean, the buildings opposite are a lot taller than what they are. But the White House is going to be done, even after redevelopment. So, I mean, probably that's an lighting.
Do we have a motion to object, or do we have a motion that we have no concerns?
It's a difficult one, this.
I think we have to have one or the other.
Yes, I'll be chair. it would be a shame to see the building empty. I mean, I know we've had a letter explaining that for the immediate future it is going to be used as part of the retail operation. But then that's moving back to Northampton, I believe. Mm-hmm. And there's been no time frame really set on that. We certainly don't want the building to go to rack and ruin, because that would be a disaster just there. So in that respect, something is better than nothing. It's just the car parking, but you can't get any more on there. I accept that.
We looked into buying some more land, but
There isn't any there, is there?
well, there's
The
the
village
part
hall.
behind where the substation is.
Yeah.
But that's highways and
You've got no
toll
choice.
yeah. Alison, my client was quite happy to purchase that for parking. I mean, if we could get more cars on, we would. It's not.
Because it's a matter of the highways, the entry and the entrance.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't like the idea of it, but my own drive is bad enough.
Are we fearing that if people can't park here, they're going to park on Holcott Road? Because
If anyone parks there, they'll have.
but you've already got cars parked on this side of Holcott Road, haven't you? So they're not going to be able to park there, are they? So they are going to have to find their own parking, which puts the emphasis on them rather than.
And there is nowhere else going.
I think Northampton Road is double yellow, isn't it?
That's full already. I mean, Local Pine Court round the back, they're all one-bed apartments, and they pretty much got 2 cars per building there, and that is 3-4 years ago, before the buy-to-let took over that area, parking was no problem. But now there is pretty much 2 cars per unit there, and it's heaving. It's absolutely impossible to find a parking space. And that's one street along Holcott Road. It's already full every night, and Northampton Road is already full every night as well.
I think it's fair to say we have a parking problem.
I think we do.
It's a basic issue, isn't it?
And hence the concern, actually. Stephen, you're chairman of planning,
I know,
so
I
I'm
am.
sort of...
Can't see any planning reason.
No. I propose that we accept it.
we actually say no objection.
Sorry, no objections to it.
Okay, there's a motion that we do not object. Do we have a second that we do not object? There's only 3 bar. No? No? Yes? Sorry?
I just didn't want it to be an in-house planning thing. That's
Well, I am happy to second the motion, so it doesn't have to be you. Okay, so in which case I'd ask for a vote for those in favour of the motion. Those opposed to the motion and those abstaining. Ian, I thought it would be you. In which case, we will advise Daventry that we have no objection.
Thank you very much.
I don't dare say what Daventry's views might be.
Oh, yes, yes.
Thank you for your patience and your understanding of our particular concern. You may be relieved to know that you're excused.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And in fact, Emma, you don't need to stay either if you don't want to. I'm not throwing you out. Okay, now we get on to finance and administration. Everybody, the bank reconciliation as of the 31st of July is printed in the agenda. Do we have any questions on that at all? In which case, the Parish Council reserves, item B, also printed in the agenda. Do we have any questions on that? Nobody? Okay. Then we come down to item C, which is to approve the bills for payment for August 2015. That is being circulated, I think, by email. I'm sure I had a copy here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, what do you know? Most of them are electronic payments. You'll note 3 are by cheque. Any questions on the payments as presented? Yes,
I
Ian.
just want a clarification, please, on the item that's sockets for goals.
Yeah, we were a couple of sockets missing, so I had to buy some new ones to put in.
These are sockets that
They
the
go
goal
in the
fits
ground.
into. This isn't the safety socket I was talking about previously.
Well, it is part of that, you know, you then get a lid that you put on the top of it when you haven't got a goal in it. But
Yeah.
we had one issue on the ashway where one of the posts got stuck, so it all had to be dug out and we had to get a new socket.
Has anything been done then about the safety issue on St David's playing field where the cricketers are running with open holes like that where the socket cover's missing?
Well, as soon as they're replaced, unfortunately kids, you know, move them.
No, you can get lockable ones, and the parish council bought lockable ones in the past.
I was unaware that there were lockable ones. We
That's
haven't got any
information I was
lockable
given.
ones. But other goal, well,
I've never seen any lockable covers.
no, I haven't.
Okay, matter for next meeting. I think I'll come back on it.
So we could perhaps look into that.
I'll have a good look through the stores,
Yeah.
see if I can find any, but
I haven't
I've
seen
cleared
it.
out the ashway stores and Dave's, so I didn't see any.
How long ago has it seen?
When I was chair, certainly, so you're probably talking of
5 or 6 years ago.
6
I'll
years
have
or
a chat with
so.
the old chairman, John
Yeah.
Howard, to see what he
So
remembers
that,
about
if
it.
not, it could be the answer to your problems to make sure that, you know, everything's safe and for the cricketers in particular.
Do you know whether this would have been the adult teams that would have got them or the junior teams?
I'll see if I can find the minutes, that's the
Right.
easiest thing, isn't it?
Okay. All right.
First thing.
Something to look into. In fact, the
Yeah.
maintenance group might want to
Yeah,
look into
yeah.
that. Any other questions, gentlemen? In which case, could I have a motion that we pay our bills for the month? Thank you, Stephen. Second? Oh, thank you. All those in favour, please. That's unanimous, so I won't ask any further questions. There is actually on this a note of our receipts as well, so that's just worth noting. Next item is item D, 11D on the agenda, to agree to investigate mapping software for use by the parish council and its contractors. Emma, you had...
Yeah, this was something that Alex wanted to look into because the PSMA software is virtually impossible for us to use. So complex. We've got parishes online which the neighbourhood plan are using for all of their maps for the neighbourhood plan, but because they're all logged on our website, on the parish online website, we can't use it for anything else. So Alex was keen to look and see if there's anything else that we can use so that we can map out all of our areas like verges, playing fields, that sort of thing. So he basically just wants to look into it and see if we can get some other software.
Okay, I guess the easy thing for me to ask is, do we agree to investigate acquisition of software and have a proposal come to a future meeting? Stephen, you want to say?
Yes, well, I think that's a good idea because we do need to actually sort of resolve just the areas that we are looking at. I mean, I think it's a bit hit and miss almost at the moment. And we do need to work out exactly what is in our demise, so I think it's a good idea.
Okay, so I think generally speaking, if I look around the table, we agree that it should be KMR. I guess
Okay.
that's pulling the trigger.
Yeah, okay, I'll let him know.
To receive the budget overview document from the Finance Working Group showing income and expenditure for the first 12 months of the financial year. Stephen, I keep returning to you, but I think you...
Yeah, I'm on that as well, aren't I? Yes.
You're becoming important, to me at least.
The financial working group have rationalised the expenditure headings that's currently being used by the council into the headings on the right-hand side. Subscriptions, staff costs, subscriptions, expenses, admin, projects and grants, legal costs, earmark reserves, highways and environment, maintenance and recreation. With a list of the earmark reserves down on the left-hand side. The plan is that we will use this simple reporting procedure every quarter just to demonstrate how we are and how we're going against the projected finances for the year. At the moment, our income is 56.72%, so pretty much on track. The expenditure is 40.79%. That is slightly more than if you take a straight average, but there again, there are some expenditures that have been paid already for the full year. So we've overlooked all of those last week, and we are pleased to report to Council that, in our opinion, everything is very much on track to what was projected last January. And then we've just started doing a simple graph so that people can just see it in a simplified manner, really, to be quite honest.
Thank you for that.
So that'll be a quarterly presentation.
In which case, gentlemen, we accept the report, do we?
Yep.
Are we happy to accept the report? Ian? Yeah. Thank you very much. Next is to approve expenditure of 3,900 on winter maintenance. It should be a winter maintenance programme, shouldn't it? For St David's and the Ashbury playing surfaces. Is that you?
You could say that
you are popular, you know.
I think the next one after that's you as well.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that one. Yes, this was really sort of following on from meetings that Neil and Emma have been involved with to bring the pitches up to a decent standard. And we've been advised that one method of doing this would be to adopt a winter maintenance programme, which not be for this year, but an ongoing one. And to that end, we would propose going out to tender. We have had some budgets, or a budget figure, which is where the 3,900 come from. So that is just an overview at the moment. Emma has prepared a brief tender to go out, that we will go out to 3 people, as listed in the financial regulations. Hopefully they will come in less than the 3.9, but we'll see.
No, this actually F is for the
sorry, Mike.
The point F is for the
oh yes,
overseeding. Now we were looking at brushing and spiking.
Sorry.
We've already got vertidraining that's going to happen as soon as our groundsman reckons that the ground is okay for it to be done. That's already in place. But when I spoke to them about spiking and brushing, they went and had a look at the grass, and he's got a guy that works for him that used to work on Peterborough's football ground, and he basically thinks there isn't enough grass there to warrant brushing and spiking at this moment in time. So they think the best thing to do would be to overseed in autumn. And it's going to still be warm, it'll be a bit wetter, and we'll get a bit more growth. And also using a more, well, I don't know what you call it, robust seed. They're using a seed that should be a tougher grass. And we're going to go with that for this year. We've gone with what they've said. They feel for this year, certainly that's where we're going to benefit, vertidraining and that. So that amount of money is literally to overseed in autumn. But there is a bit of leeway in it because we might be going to get a better deal on the seed. So it might come down. It might not be as much as that, but that's the worst case scenario for this autumn.
So that's item F. So in which case we need a motion to approve the expenditure of 3,900 for overseeding.
Yes.
Do you want to make that motion?
Yes, I propose that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, David. Those in favour that we make the payment? Any opposed or abstentions? Ian's abstaining. The next item, and I guess this is why it's a little confusing, is to approve the transfer of specified funds to increase the grounds maintenance budget from 5,200 to 9,600, for which we would need a motion.
This is where we think we can find the money from, and Stephen's going to talk us through that.
Yes, we've looked at this and we've decided that, or we would like to propose, that we take some money from the Section 106 fund for maintenance work on the Ashway, which is really what it's for, and then take some money out of 3 earmarked reserves. One being the pension fund, which, as a working group, we're looking into why we have that earmarked fund anyway, because we're not 100% certain. Money from projects and money from street lighting. The reason we can take it from street lighting is that E.ON have actually carried out the work we were going to do this year free of charge as part of the overall lighting improvement.
So we shouldn't say that too loudly, should we?
No, please don't report that one. I thought we was looking at slightly less than 4,000 when we met, but it was £600 out of the Ashway, £500 out of the pension fund, 1,800 out of the projects, and 1,500 out of the street lighting, which we believe from the finance working group we can still meet our financial targets, and it will find a way of hopefully improving the playing field.
And that's the proposal of the financial working group?
Yes.
Okay.
How much was it financial aid? It's not £106.
£600.
600.
Yeah.
The street lighting, was that all the budget that being put aside?
No.
There's only part of it?
That's only part of it.
Yeah.
So it's already been done. Do you still need to keep money back?
Well, we're keeping it because we may, in the future, be upgrading the lights that we're responsible for.
Right.
So we don't want to take all the money.
No.
We want to keep some
Just
there,
part.
so that we can add to it next year. We don't want to sort of wipe all the money out of one particular.
No.
Okay, I'll assume that's a motion to approve the change,
Yes, please, if you could take
as
it.
indicated. Do we have a second to the motion? Thank you. Those in favour? Any opposed? And abstentions? Ian? You're going to have a new middle name, Ian.
Someone doesn't ask me why I abstained, it could be a long story.
Next item is item H on the agenda, 11H, to approve the new tender for grounds maintenance for St David's and the Ashway for 2016-17. That was circulated, I believe.
Yes, yeah. It's quite a brief tender because having spoken to the person that currently mows the grass, he believes, and I agree with him as well, because where we are at the moment is we're trying to improve the quality of the playing fields. This is the sort of basic work that would be done each year, but whoever gets that contract has got to be prepared for us to have continual talks with them and even change our plans. Because if we're doing one thing and it's not actually working, then we're going to have to probably switch to something else. So the programme as it stands at the moment is quite brief, but it'll involve with who, the people that come to tender for it, having a conversation with them and just seeing how much leeway they'll give us. So, the programme may change slightly and the costs may change slightly.
So the item is to approve the new tender.
Which is what you've both received.
Yeah. Not to approve a result of the tender.
No, because it hasn't gone out yet. Yeah.
Okay, so are we happy to approve the tender document?
I'll just say, Chairman, I mean, it's very, very vague as it is at the moment. Do I gather these are, if you like, chapter headings for the tender, and then we'll go into more details what we mean by
no,
this is it.
This is what, having spoken to Ken from R&G, this is the sort of thing that he has on the schedule, and he prices on that, on the number of square metres.
So this is overseeding. There's no, I mean, I'm not an expert on this, so that's why I'm struggling a little bit to understand. It doesn't say what density of seed, what quality of seed, how many times it should be done. Is it just only overseeding? Is it?
But if you go by what the anybody that tenders for that will know about the overseeding, and they will tell you what seed, because Ken's told us for that one that we've just approved. He's told us what seeds are going to be used because he's looked at the ground, and this is what it'll be. It'll be a dialogue. It won't be something that whoever gets the tender will just have free rein to do whatever. Everything will be done within consultation with us, with football clubs if need be, and that's how it'll work.
So they're tendering a price for this?
Yeah.
How can they tender a price when we don't know what it's going to be then? Exactly.
Well,
what I don't want us to do is expose ourselves.
R&G Grounds have priced on this. They have priced on this.
Yes, and if we want to renegotiate anything or talk about anything as we go along, they'll simply come back and say it's not what we tendered for. Sure.
In the beginning, the conversations will be if we need to change or amend anything or review anything, they've got to agree to that. Like I say, this is the advice we've had because of the way the grass is, and the previous tender that was all well and good and had lots of words in it, but wasn't actually doing the job that it was set out for. So that's why we're going down this route, trying a new route, purely to see if we can.
I suppose it would be interesting to see what results it generates.
Very vague. It's for 1 year?
No, it'll be for 2 years.
For 2 years?
I mean, I think when they put their bids in, I would expect them to say we would propose to use ryegrass or whatever for the overseeding.
That's what they do, yeah.
Well, can I just add a comment? Because I have to answer a lot of tenders, and if the tender brief is vague, companies can particularly be vague with their responses back. We aren't vague. We will give them all the details they need. But if you're comparing apples with apples, you need all three, 4, 5, or 6 of them to have a correct understanding of what they're tendering. If you don't ask them what grade of seed they're going to give you, they're not obliged to tell you. They'll tell you they'll seed it, and they'll say it's going to cost X amount of money to seed it, but actually then you're just wasting a little bit of time by going back to them to have to clarify what seed they're giving.
So you say we should pick the seed, or we should just say specify what the seed should be?
I'd ask to specify.
That's what I'm thinking. That's
The real one is a decent pitch for you guys to have. That's what we're after, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Ken, who's or whoever's going to do it this year. I mean, obviously I've got to go out and get some other quotes. That's what we've had a conversation about.
Just on this degree of flexibility that you want from all of them, that is that is part and parcel of what you expect back in the response. We tell companies how flexible we will be.
Oh yeah.
But we have to sit down with them and agree to what those range of flexibility
that's
are.
what I'm intending.
If some companies come back to you, unless you ask them for some sort of clarity on how flexible they will be with you, I'm in agreement with them. You need to be slightly careful with sending out a tender that is too vague, you don't get enough information back. Because then you can't differentiate between the three of them, because they'll all promise you the same things, but actually you don't know where. Yeah.
But like with regards to like things like, I mean, if I go through it, your initial pre-season marking out the pitch, they've got the sizes of the pitches. So they'll know what they're doing on that.
Right.
Gang mowing, weekly, fortnightly. When they'll have the square meterage, so they'll know from that.
Yeah.
Carrying out verti draining, because they've got the square meterage, they're going to know. They're going to be able to price that.
Yeah.
Fertilising the same, they're going to be able to price that. The only one is the overseeding, but I have written down on there the use of ryegrass and drilling down systems, that sort of thing. So although it's fairly vague, it's not actually that vague, because they should know when they've got the square meterage what they should be charging.
When you send it out, you should ask them to specify what brand they're using.
Yeah.
That gives you a good range of what actual prices they're coming in at, because you're going to get a massive difference.
With regards to the other items,
it would also be up to the council to challenge any response anyway.
Yes, very true.
Okay, do we accept that this is the document that we will be using?
I'd like to propose we accept it, but with the proviso that we ask tenderers to specify the type of ryegrass they propose to use.
Okay, thank you. There's a proposal. A second for the proposal? A small amendment to the document.
Yep.
Thank you, Peter. Those in favour, please so indicate. That's everybody. We don't have to change Ian's name. Good, thank you. We're now down as far as I believe, to agree to authorise the clerk to make immediate payments on behalf of the Neighbourhood Plan Steering Group from Neighbourhood Plan Steering Group grant monies, which are held by the council, by the way, where such payments are in line with the purposes described in the application for funding. I think we had right. I would also comment and say this has been pretty much standard procedure in the past, but we need to formalise it.
I suppose I should have declared an interest in that, because I'm the chairman of the group, so I certainly shan't vote.
That's probably my fault.
I'm a member of the group.
He's a member of the group too.
Yeah, but we only have 5 people.
I did too, was left.
Personally, I think it's something we've been doing anyway, and it's a formality to say yes, we'll just simply continue doing it. The parish council holds funds on behalf of the Neighbourhood Plan Working Group, which are given to the Neighbourhood Plan Working Group for specific purposes as listed here, and if the Neighbourhood Plan Working Group requests that the clerk write a cheque for the specific purpose for which the money was given, it's really not necessary to bring it before the parish council to approve the payment.
Right, so we're going to next business, are we?
I'm sorry?
We're going to next business then?
I still didn't hear you.
Sorry. You're saying it's not necessary to do this piece of business?
What I'm saying is it wouldn't be necessary to bring it before a parish council meeting to approve the payments, because the payments are already defined. Because the payments are defined, the secretary of the Neighbourhood Plan Steering Group should be able to ask Emma to write a cheque for the predefined purpose. Without having to bring it to the parish council for approval.
On the basis of prior authorisation?
Yes.
Yeah, it's this sheet here. That's the one that everybody...
And the simple, to keep it simple, we just need to agree that that procedure, which happens to be the procedure we've used in the past, is acceptable for the future too.
Do we need a proposal for that?
If you would care to.
Well, it's only us two, isn't it? Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
you proposing that, and I take it, Peter, you're right. Those in favour?
Yes, two.
Those abstaining? Thank you. And those, so there's nobody left to oppose. So it is passed. That was interesting. Where are we now? To agree to update the parish council van signage. I guess that means saying beautiful sunny Brixworth on the side of the parish council van.
Yeah, they've got a bit faded, and it's just basically to get your approval for me to go out and get some prices and see how much it would be to
We
replace.
just put a sticky sign on it?
Yeah, I think that's what they were. They were just sticky.
Or would you have a sign painted just say Brixworth Parish Council as well?
Nice, Chair. Might have to ask the van
Or
there, might
beautiful
we?
Brixworth, I mean.
I think
Follow me.
Yeah, I think it was the crest that was on before.
Yeah.
So it's just really replacing that.
Okay, so do we agree to do it, or do we need quotes for that? I don't think.
Well, I'll get some quotes, but it's just asking. Yeah.
Okay, so quotes for next
Yeah.
meeting. All right. To report on local council award scheme, the deadline for submission to retain unbroken accreditation record and to agree to apply for foundation level. This is the scheme that replaces quality status which we have had. The problem is that in order to continue, in order to apply for foundation level, we have to have a majority of elected.
Not for foundation. It's for the other
okay.
foundation.
Go ahead.
The scheme changed last year. We were automatically given foundation level up to December this year, but that runs out. Most of the parish councils were okay because they've had elections this year, but as we haven't got until next year, we've got to, if we want to stay in the scheme, we've got to apply for foundation again, which we need to do before the 1st of November, so that we can carry on with unbroken service.
It doesn't make sense not to apply for it.
You may as well.
So I think we should simply just agree, unless you want a formal motion, but I think if we all agree around the table that we should make application, I think that should be... Ian?
Is there a fee involved?
No, not for this level.
Wow.
Because that, so we can stay.
So you quickly go for it.
We'll have half a dozen then.
I presume that Ian's approval to be carrying the day.
My goodness, I'll propose it, Chairman.
You really want to? Oh, in which case, I'll ask for a second. Thank you, David. Those in favour? Any opposed? Abstentions? No. Wow. Highways and Environment to discuss proposed 50 mile an hour speed limit to implement it on the A508 Harbour Road following a letter received from Northamptonshire Highways. I don't know why we would want to approve or disapprove. I don't think it's our...
No, I just think that they just want comments, but it's not even, it's actually out of the village. From where it's between sort of Pitsford and Boughton, I think.
It's used by practically everybody, and it's a highly dangerous piece of road, in my view. I think 50 miles an hour, which is on the road coming down from Kelmarsh to Madewell. That's 50 miles an hour. It's a hell of a lot less dangerous than that stretch. That's right, we call the gut, where there's nowhere to go if anybody makes a mistake. And they do drive at 60, 70 there. If we bring them down to 50, 60, it's going to be a genuine contribution. How many deaths have we had? 3 in the last few years? Yeah. Young man struck by a vehicle coming out of Hassett fencing and killed outright. A young woman killed when she was texting. And, you know, you can't do it. And I think there was yet another.
There was one recently, wasn't there?
There was one recently, just near the Barton thing, wasn't there? A lady.
The cyclist,
What's a jogger?
A jogger.
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 I think
Middle-aged lady. Jogger.
Yeah. No,
my
no.
point is that it is Northamptonshire Highways' responsibility, and I think all we can do is commend their decision to reduce the speed limit.
Yep.
Can I clarify, is that just the stretch between Boughton and Pittsford, or are they talking the whole length?
There's a, there's a picture here.
So you've got Pittsford here. It starts here.
So south of Brixworth.
Yeah, and then it comes down to this roundabout at Brampton Lane roundabout.
Just about
Or just
around
before
Ray
that,
Bell's
just
it starts.
Okay.
That is 40, and that is 60 just there. So it's this area there in the red line.
Not going to do anything for the noise for us poor people up in Hanging Houghton, right?
You're allowed to propose that you include the stretch between the two roundabouts?
No,
you can't
there's no, it's just,
It's south of the...
yeah, they're just letting us know really that's what they're doing.
So we acknowledge that. To receive an update from the school crossing patrol working group. Emma, I guess I can...
Yeah, after the last meeting, when I gave some information about how much it would cost to fund a school crossing patrol person and what we needed to do, I spoke to the person responsible for this at Northamptonshire Highways, and she basically said that because we'd had withdrawn the service was withdrawn 5 years ago, and we hadn't kept up with taking on the funding, which is what the other 6 villages or towns did to keep a lollipop person in their village or town. She said it would be highly unlikely that we would be able to start it up again because they've removed all of the static signs and that sort of thing. But she did say she would put it on the list to be reviewed. But anyway, following all of that, I did mention it to the police commissioner when we had the walkabout, and he was quite concerned because they also said it's part of the PCSO's remit to go and talk about road safety in schools. So he was going to look into it, but he did mention if you couldn't go down that route, how about thinking about a flashing sign that flashes when the children are going into school and when they're coming out, just making people aware. But he was going to make some inquiries.
So the school crossing patrol working group should probably assimilate those comments and report back to us at a future meeting.
Yeah, I think if any review is going to happen, I think it's going to happen when the children go back to school. So
yeah, so we should expect to hear from at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Is this just because the sign's a bit removing?
They basically told me that they're trying to get rid of them completely. So if you haven't had one for so many years, it's highly unlikely that they will allow you to have. Because basically, even though if we were going to fund it, they employ the person, they do all the training, and the person gets paid through the Northamptonshire Highways, but we just give them money.
We couldn't get anybody to volunteer last time when the last person.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think they just stopped it, and I think you either have to continue funding.
We advertised in the Bugle, it was then, before the Bulletin, many years ago, when she retired, and the post was never filled because no one ever came forward to have to do it.
Yeah. She came back again, didn't she?
Temporarily
after her retirement.
Because she was concerned that no one was doing it, but again, no one came forward. That was the problem. No. They could never recruit.
Okay, so we'll probably get another report at the next meeting. To agree to investigate costs of a tree inspection of the parish council trees. I thought we used to do that almost every year, didn't we, Ian?
Yeah, but I think before, having looked back, it's been a sort of fairly informal inspection. But I was just wondering whether for sort of insurance purposes and things, we perhaps should go down the route of looking for formal inspection.
Yeah. I have no problem with investigating costs. I think that's better than committing to costs.
I know certainly, Chairman, in the past it's been almost on a risk-based inspection. Where is that branch going to fall off? So it was a bit, if you like, I mean, I'd certainly commend to this meeting, or the group is going to do this, what another parish council does, such as Scoldwell. They do this inspection, but also what maintenance work does that tree need at the same time while you're doing it, so you can prevent trouble later on. It may cost a little more maybe, but I think it's certainly worth extending your branches to
That's a good point. When you're looking at the tree, what are you looking for?
Yeah. Not just the danger, but what's it need? Has it got any disease that could be cut out, for example? Because in Scoldwell, again, you've got some lime trees which have been had to be felled. And it's a shame.
So, everybody, do we agree then to investigate the cost of a tree inspection? Yes?
How many trees are we talking about?
Well, quite a few, because you've got the Pocket Park area, got trees. I mean, I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's quite a few areas where you've got trees down Pychley Close at the end.
Also the Ashware, because big trees now.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, the ones at St David's Close are massive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'd better do it.
Yeah, I agree. Have we all agreed that we get... Okay, we are all agreed. To investigate the cost, please.
I'll come back next one.
I'm now down to 13, recreation and amenities, to report on errors on the Rossborough inspection carried out on the 11th of June. Emma?
Yeah, there was a bit of concern that when we got the report for this year, there were straight duplications to the report from last year. So I've spoken with the person that carried out the inspection, and a couple of them, although he's used the same wording, whereas it was like a chain for a swing, it's a swing, the other swing, as opposed to the one that was on the previous year. But there was one point that he did say he'd accidentally left it in the report, which was for the gates at St David's play area, where he said that there was an entrapment within the gate, but we had, like, that was last year, the wording was exactly the same, and we had moved the gate and got rid of the entrapment. So he did say, yeah, he probably accidentally left that in. So following on from that, Mark and I are now going to go around and look at every area, change all the things that he's written down that we need to change. Now, we were looking at changing the medium risk items and some of the low ones monitoring, but at a conference that I was at last week, a person from the insurance company said that if you've got any risks that have been highlighted, you really shouldn't leave even low risks, and we should look to replace even low risks, just in case.
It should be a record of your...
So I don't know whether we should look to changing everything. Some of the low risks are quite simple things that we can look at, but it will mean, a few more things that we've got to change.
So you're going to review it with Mark?
Yeah, well, we're going to literally go around and everything that's been picked up, we're going to look to changing it, either replacing or some of the things are just filling in cracks on the soft surface tiles, which Mark can do. So it's not talking about a lot of expense.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes. Are they going to reissue their report?
He didn't at that time. He just said remove that. That was the only one that was glaringly obvious that was a straight duplication. The rest, everything, there wasn't any other.
We pay for that report, don't we?
Yes, I know.
I think they ought to reissue it, because just having the word of mouth, oh, that's okay, just scrub it. There's still a document out that says.
No, you're right, especially when you come to insurance.
Especially if you go to insurances.
That is, I'll ask him to, because I literally, as I was talking to him, I said, right, well, I'll take it out of my report, but I'll ask him to reissue.
Their report to us has still got that in.
Yeah.
when you and Mark have finished your review of it, you'll be in a position to query.
Yeah. I did speak to a couple of the clerks at this conference that I was at last week, and they'd actually had this same guide. And this isn't the first time it's come up, so I don't know whether we might perhaps look to some, pick another inspector.
I think if we go back and say we want this rewritten and be submitted, then it sort of puts him on notice that
we're watching
we're watching it.
Increase your standards.
Yeah.
Okay, Emma, thank you for the report. Next is to approve the removal of a tree on the Ashway Recreation Ground.
Yeah, this is a tree that is the house at the top of Lesson Road, number 35. There's a tree on the sort of bank in the Ashway that's hanging into a garden. Half of it's dead, and the part that's hanging into a garden, the leaves are all curling like they did on the dead side, so it looks as like it's got some form of disease. We think it's an ash tree, and it looks like it's got lots of, it's coming up with lots of different, it's not like a big thick trunk, it's got lots of thin bits. And basically the part that's hanging into a garden, if that's going to die as well, it looks like at any point it could fall in.
Unusual response is to get the advice of a tree surgeon and act accordingly.
But I think it's the best thing would be to get rid of it. It's not a massive tree. It's not. There are some bigger ones further down, some really big ones, but this is just a smaller one.
Is it self-seeded?
Looks like it is.
Can we not get Mr. Benson to have a look at it?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah.
Give it when you can get hold of it.
Yeah.
Are we satisfied with that as a solution?
Yeah, I think so. That
yeah?
gives a bit of...
Thank you, David. Next item on my agenda is item 14, to accept the report from the previous surgery and agree volunteers for the next surgery on Saturday the 5th of September, when I won't be here. So I don't know if there even was a report from the last.
Well, there was only one item which I think somebody was concerned whose responsibility it was to empty the bin outside of the shop on Northampton Road. But I have a feeling it's their bin. I don't think it's a highways bin, and it's not one of our bins. So it's their responsibility to empty that bin. That was the only item.
That's the only. Now, what about the next surgery? I don't know if there's anyone.
Thanks, Chairman. We just need to.
Your patience is exhausted. Can I come to?
Thank you very much.
Talk about that goal in the week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I see we're getting close to the end. I don't know that there's anybody going to. There's nobody here this evening that can volunteer to do it.
Everybody here is away. You're away. You're away. You're away.
Probably. Probably.
You're away this week. Away next week.
Well, I'll
back on.
Get an email. Well, when is it? It's not this weekend. It's next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
I think
next
there
week.
was volunteer 2 people who didn't turn up.
Well, I'll get an email out on Monday. I know Alex is back on Monday.
Remind me what the times are?
Because if we don't have volunteers, we'll just have to move on to October.
Surely it's accepted business practice that whoever doesn't turn up to the meeting gets all the action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say?
I could do 10 till 12.
Well, volunteer Alex and me.
Peter said he could do 10 to 12.
If somebody else could
Peter can do it?
turn up as well.
What?
If I'm here, but I may not be here.
So we can coordinate.
Yeah, I'll send an email out on Monday.
Yeah.
See if we can get somebody to do it.
There's a lot going on. Well, just at the moment. I can't guarantee to be everywhere.
Next item, to agree to permanently delegate approval of bulletin articles to the chairman, along with the rest of the media items as agreed periodically at the annual meeting. I think, I hate to say this, but I think that's part of standing orders anyway. I think the chairman in standing orders, is it not true?
The chairman can be a spokesman, I believe, in our standing orders, but not necessarily on his own volition. He represents the council. I may speak a moment to this, Chairman. What worries me is there's no criticism of yourself or the present Chairman, but this is leading to a democracy of one. Parish councils should be here to have a collective responsibility for what goes out from the council, and the Chairman's a spokesman. That's the Chairman's role, if you like. He hasn't got special roles in terms of publicity unless you grant them to him. Presumably, under this suggestion, the chairman have unfettered ability to say exactly what he or she wants. And if they decide to say something that they feel is important, there's no one to approve it. They can say exactly what they want. Now, if they're going to say it without the parish council support, I would suggest there may be a possibility that legally they're on their own, speaking as an individual, not as a representative of the council.
Yes,
and I would suggest that we're putting our chairman in a dodgy position legally if we accept this.
We are supposed to be a body corporate after all.
Exactly.
It is done.
Otherwise, why bother to have meetings?
It is done with the media group say so as well. And we're talking about items for the bulletin, aren't we? We're talking about Twitter, we're talking about Facebook.
I think Ian's got a point, really.
Yeah.
Because, but what I think Alice was trying to say is sometimes we get to.
You have to move quite quickly sometimes.
I know, and it always seems to be we're on the back foot, and then
yes.
it's scrappling and trying to get articles together. And I think that's
then
what.
Come back, get it approved here, go back and make amendments.
And then we're running out of time.
Yes. Well, pragmatically, that's probably true.
But
I'm talking about responsibility. I mean, not going into details, but I would think it'd be a good idea to have a chairman acting under the representing the body corporate.
Yeah, and yeah, it
safer all round.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's whether we can get around it a different way.
Could we not take that under consideration? I mean, Alex is not here to defend his idea. I accept what Ian says, though. We are a body corporate and we're supposed to act corporately.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could table that to the next meeting.
I think so, yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be in a position where the bulletin goes out, somebody reads an article in the parish council bit, and then may say to Ian, what did you write that for? What? And Ian doesn't even know.
If I don't agree with it, I certainly shan't say I don't agree with it. But the council said that, the council felt that. You can show some, uniformity, if you like. As long as the decision is arrived at democratically, then we're all part of it.
Yeah, and also
That's
you
fair.
also know what's gone in.
Could we defer that to the next meeting, perhaps?
I mean, kick it into long grass. I take Ian's point very much so. But is there a shorthand way of doing it, like circulating the draft and just, or do we have? You don't have to meet up surely and vote on them,
I suppose if you circulate a draft and everyone sees it and nobody objects,
who objects, please.
It's approved.
We've probably got to start a bit earlier than we do, actually.
I think there's another way of skinning this cat.
I think there's a vested interest in the background.
I don't know about vested interest, but I thought, I can't possibly share a little bit about how I typically would handle it in the day job or anything else. There is always a big danger in circulating a lot of the whole document to everybody, because then different people will have different views on different individual items, and you end up going round and round and round in circles. It is probably more practical if you have specific people with specific responsibility for areas, and then the article would get seen and signed off, if you will, by that person, but not by absolutely everybody. And if you can find a way of doing that kind of a thing on a reasonably, 1 week turnaround via email, rather than having to wait for the next monthly meeting, I think I can see the issue here being that sometimes you might have to wait for the next monthly meeting, at which point and everybody has got a different opinion, and you don't get anything done.
I thought you couldn't do that. I thought you couldn't circulate something via email and ask people's comments. It had to be either here.
You can't make a formal decision on anything via email.
What Ian's saying is it's got to be a formal decision made on
which
behalf of the whole.
Which is going to be on behalf of the council.
But you could make a formal decision here to then follow an agreed process that would at least sort of take some of
protocol.
Yeah.
I mean, in effect,
as long as we don't turn upside down what parish council is all about.
I mean, in effect, we have working groups, planning committee write their own article, agree the words amongst themselves, and then submit it. So in a way, that's already been edited before it comes to the council.
I'm sort of uncomfortable now because I think there's only 5 of us here this evening, and there needs to be more of us here to take part in a debate about that sort of thing. I mean, we could all just say, no, we don't accept it, but...
No, I think you're probably right. It's worthy of further consideration. Indeed, there are other implications.
Would everyone agree to table it to the next meeting?
Personally, Chairman, I say it's something we can grasp. It's on the agenda, here's a proper item, we can grasp the nettle tonight and get it sorted, I would have thought. But hey, I might be the only one.
Well, I think round the table that none of us really want to go along with that. For all the comments.
I disagree. I think handled right, it could be with the media group sort of making sure it's not just the chairman saying it.
But that doesn't say the media
group. In all fairness, that's only a group. It's not a committee.
That doesn't. That just refers to the chairman and not the group.
Yes.
Which is a different thing.
Yeah, we get on to a different thing next.
Yeah, because the next one's different one, isn't it?
The problem was with media, it's exactly the problem. Everyone has a different opinion, and it's difficult to bring it to a point at a time when you're trying to get something together to put in the Brixworth Bulletin or any other media that wants a nice, succinct piece of information. So, in some ways, it's like something designed by committee, isn't it?
I mean, maybe perhaps we should just be a little bit more organised and start it a bit earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know when the bulletin's out.
I know, yeah.
We have good reminders a month before it's due out.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell you now, but the time's coming near. We get 2 or 3 reminders.
I think probably that's so that you bring it to a meeting when you've still because quite often it's towards the end of the month that Claudia wants it in, and then we've got about 3 days, or even sometimes we're a little bit over the deadline, and then if we want to change anything, it makes it a little bit.
So to cut to the chase, we don't agree to permanently delegate approval of bulletin articles to the chairman, and suggest that make enough. Come back with another proposal.
Does that include the likes of Facebook and Twitter items as well?
Which?
Facebook and Twitter. It does say approval of bulletin articles along with the rest of the media items. Does that include that?
I don't know what the rest of the media items.
Well, that would be Facebook
but the media group agrees what goes on Facebook. And Twitter and onto the website. Well,
yes. But here it's saying along with the rest of the media items, isn't it? I'm not sure what that means.
It says along with the rest of the media items as agreed periodically at the annual meeting. So at the annual meeting we're given approval for certain things to be put on by the working group.
It has to. It's a policy document, so it's reviewed every 12 months.
Yeah.
So it would be part of the annual meeting to review that policy. So yes, we could change.
So that stands up on its own merit.
The annual meeting bit. But the bit that is difficult is to agree to permanently delegate approval of bulletin articles to the chairman.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's a part.
Yeah.
So we don't agree that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay. So do I need a motion to that effect, or
Well, I suppose if we disagree, I suppose we've got to say it's a disagreement.
because it wasn't?
Yeah.
It was just we disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a motion. We don't agree it.
Okay.
Is that right, Emma?
Yeah, I'll just put that item 15 was not agreed.
Not agreed. Okay. I think you're running the same danger with item 16, in which case to agree to delegate membership of the chairman's media advisory group to the chairman, it means you have a chairman's group, doesn't it? If you're going to have a group to advise the chairman of members, surely the council, to take the corporate meaning of the word, should be the one to appoint those members of the advisory group. I know it'd be much easier if I was the permanent chairman to say, yes, I'd like Stephen, you and I will get together and we'll agree what, but that isn't a corporate procedure.
And Chairman, we are talking about an advisory group, not even a committee. There is a legal distinction between the two.
It's my fault I started the advisory group because I thought it would be useful to have 2 or 3 people advising on how we proceed with certain issues.
Nothing wrong with advice.
So I'm holding my hands up.
Nothing wrong with advice, it's just what happens at the end of the road.
Because it's an advisory group, should the chairman select his own advisors? I don't see why not. See, I'm going the other way now.
That's all basis.
You can select who you want, Chairman, but if the Chairman is speaking other than on behalf of the Council as a result of a properly discussed motion or piece of information, then they're on their own, is what I'm putting. It should be obvious that it is the Chairman speaking as a person and as an individual. That's fine. Same as I can speak as an individual. They don't represent the Council, they don't represent me.
So item 16 here now, the Chairman's advisory group. Do we agree that the Chairman can select his own advisors, or do we impose advisors upon the Chairman? I don't think so. They would just fall flat.
It's a group.
Yeah.
Chairman can have who he wants.
Yeah.
If it's a committee, it's different.
What the outcome of that group has to be agreed by the Council.
You can informally meet with David to ask him something about the conservation area. No problem with that. Don't expect us to have.
Okay, fine. So we would agree we'd agree 16 then.
Yeah.
Yes, because they've still got to come back to council.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything.
Because it has to come back to council before it can be acted.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
do you want to put anybody on?
Is that a unanimous? Yes, we're unanimously agreed.
Agreed.
David, do you agree? Okay, so that is agreed. To report on the visit by Police Commissioner and the walkabout on Brixworth on August the 14th. Emma,
I did circulate a little report.
Do we
he was
have
here
any?
for about an hour. We thought he was only going to be here for half an hour, but he stayed for an hour.
So what I should really ask is, do we have any questions regarding that visit? Will there be a?
He's going to produce once he's visited all of the parishes. He's going to produce a report, and then obviously, well, I'm assuming that we'll see a copy of that. But he's also going to try and secure some funding, so that if we've got any little projects that involve safety measures or whatever, then we can bid for funding.
Okay. So it's more or less watch this space, isn't it? So, thank you for the report. To approve knock and drop. campaign in Brixworth by Northamptonshire Police to get volunteers for special police scheme. I guess they have asked us, is that correct, Emma?
This is what he asked on the Friday. He said they will basically, if we approve it, they'll go through everybody in the village, deliver leaflets, knock on doors and speak to people and see if anybody's interested in becoming a special constable within the village.
So I have no objection to that.
No, it's a good idea.
Have we agreed? Do we need a motion, Emma?
We could do a minute.
We're all agreed,
Yeah,
I think.
You all agree.
Yeah. To approve delegates to attend Northants Calc annual general meeting on the 17th of November. It's usually the chairman and the secretary.
17th of October, says here.
Did I say September?
No, you said November.
Oh. Well, at least I can give you a selection. On the 17th of October 2015 at the Forum in Toaster. What I was saying is, usually the chairman, which this year is Alex, and often the clerk, but not always. On occasion it's been the chairman and vice chairman that have attended.
It's actually my birthday that day, so I'd rather not go.
Well, you counted out.
I'm hoping to have something else arranged for me on that day, but...
I would suggest that we approve Alex as a delegate. Only two people can go, but only one can vote. So I think it's appropriate that the chairman represent the council and the chairman have the power to vote on behalf of the council. Ian?
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Do we agree to that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yes, we all agreed. David, you agree too?
Yep.
Right, so Alex will be,
and then
will be
one
nominated.
other, anybody else can go.
Anybody else can go who wants to go,
But they won't be able to vote.
but they won't be able to vote, so they're just filling a space, essentially. But the important one is the delegate, and the delegate is the chairman who has the voting right. Okay. I have general correspondence for discussion regarding changes to the Code of Conduct.
Yes. Daventry have sent through the Code of Conduct and they've made a couple of minor changes to it, which I think I sent out, and you'll see that they were highlighted on the first page in Part 1, 1.3. They've included under relevant authority, police and crime panel. And then the other amendment is 8.1b. That's in respect of an other disclosable interest has been included. But I suggest that we, if you agree to table it, with a review, with approval.
I think it makes sense that our documentation agrees with Daventry's, especially things like the standing orders, isn't it? Because the Simon, whatever his name is, Bovey, he needs to know where he stands when he's dealing with a complaint or whatever that might in future come. I think the proper procedure, though, is that we have a motion and a second now, and then we table it for a vote until the next meeting. For some reason in the back of my mind, that's a proper procedure for dealing with amendments to standing orders.
Well, we've only got to discuss it anyway, so we need to take it forward to...
It's quite proper we're discussing the email, not the document. So we've discussed the email, and we've said, yes, let's do a document for the next meeting.
And we've got to add, because we've got the Nolan principles that we've got at the front of our actual Code of Conduct, so it'll just be a case of incorporating this into our Code of Conduct and then bring it to the next month for approval.
So we have a motion and a second now, and we table it to the next meeting. Or you want to move the whole thing forward to the next meeting, having considered the email?
Well, we've discussed it. I think we incorporate this into our code of conduct to bring it for the next month and approve it at the next month.
Okay?
Yeah.
Everyone's agreed with that?
Yeah.
David? Good. General correspondence. Not for discussion. I guess there's a file that is available to all members.
One of them I think I emailed out to you as well.
Ooh. The dates for the next meeting are, there's a planning meeting on the 14th of September, and a full council meeting will be on Tuesday the 22nd of September. I know of no urgent matters to report unless you do, Emma.
No, I haven't got any.
It's the 14th, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
23rd, isn't it?
No.
Oh, well, in that case I'm wrong.
And in which case I'm happy to say
I'm not here for that.
I got to the end of the agenda first. Thank you, gentlemen, for your patience.
Thank you, Chair.
Good evening.
Stand in,
Thank
Chairman.
you, for standing in.
Short notice.